All right. Welcome aboard to another stock market live stream. Well, here we go. We have another day and another dollar. Sorry, Kevin's a little biased to the upside today because 3 days ago we did this glorious fundamental analysis and it's already paying back biglies. It's paying back so biglies because the stock is doing so well after we better nobody knows up quite like we do. Oh my god. Okay, anyway. Welcome everybody. Let's get started with what's going on today. So we've got Mark Zuckerberg stepping back from the metaverse, and apparently that is leading Meta to jump, which is like, thank gosh. The guy who's basically 666 himself, has finally realized, because I don't really like Zuck, but I think Meta has actually gotten very cheap. This isn't the big one that I'm excited about. But Meta's interesting because the metaverse was so dumb. I thought that was already dead. So the fact that they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna put the nail in the coffin on it now. I'm like, okay, good. Oh my god, this is crazy. Like, yeah, you should have done that a long time ago, homies. But whatever. I guess, yeah, that's their thing. I still think and maintain that one of the things that's so brilliant about Meta is that they are essentially offloading all of their risk to another entity when it comes to debt, and I couldn't love that more. Like, I think it's fantastic. I think it's also like it's just smart. So a big fan of this. The let's see here. Guess that's a little funky. I'm trying to get. Oh no, bro. Why is that not working? Oh, interesting. I thought I could get my little X thing to work a little differently, but apparently not. Okay, I'm gonna try it again. That's one thing I will say, Elon. Bitcoin, Trump. I will say, streaming video on X has been the greatest headache for me as a creator. Like, I just don't think it's that hard to get this working, but apparently any service I use to stream to them just seems to glitch out and crash on them. So I'll try one more time, but then I'm about to give up on it. But that's all right. So anyway, we'll look at a little bit in the way of what's going on out and about. Okay, let's get the street here. I hear it sounds like all the little kiddos are getting ready to go to school. I'm gonna close the store. I already gave them all hugs and kisses. So I'll close that so I don't have to hear it all as they're getting ready to leave. I'll tell you, there's nothing cuter than seeing Ella jump up and down about the idea of actually going to school. She's 2, and it's like, what, really? No, she couldn't be more enthused about going to school. So that's pretty exciting to see in a little kiddo. But, okay, cool. So broadcast successful. Okay, did I do it? Am I actually going to be able to function this? Let's see. I'll push that button. I guess we're about to find out. If X works. Otherwise, we'll just keep it going on YouTube. All right, folks, let's focus. Oh, yeah, I made it work. Well, welcome if you're on X. That's cool. I made it work. All right, here we go. So Tesla now sitting at 450. You're a little bit in no man's land on the numbers for Tesla, because if you look here, we're just extending above towards all-time highs on Tesla. Fantastic, price action. We did go back down, drop below 414, got a nice rebound since then, captured on a moving average, which is pretty remarkable to bounce on the 100-day moving average, but great job, Tesla. Getting a little stuck under 93 on Bitcoin, though on the day's average, you couldn't really tell that we're getting a little stuck. All right, let's go see what's cooking today, because there's really not much that's like in the way of like shocking or bearish information. So let's see here. Let's go to jobless claims. A lot of this jobless claims crap is likely because of seasonal adjustments, so we'll see, but it's definitely not bearish. Zuck plans to cut metaverse. Great, we heard that already. Alphabet's AI chip sales are a potential $900 billion secret sauce. We'll go look at that in just a moment. Got PIMCO rejected, South America, nobody cares. Crypto reels from $200 billion crash as casino crowd moves on, fine. Polymarket recruiting for in-house team that trades with customers. Okay. Tesla reliability improves sharply in new Consumer Reports study. Oh, that's nice. I mean, I've always loved our cars. Jack's coming to say goodbye. Thank you. You want to come say hi real quick before you take off?
Wait.
That one. Which one's Dad?
I think it was. Wasn't it this one?
Yeah, the big mouth. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And this is Mom.
Okay.
You said that this is Mom, but I think this is
Yeah,
Mom.
we have a disagreement on that one, but we agree on the Kevin. See you, dude. Could you close both my doors? Thank you. Thanks for the paper, too. Ah, the paper. Oh, it smells so good. Always gotta smell it. When they get rid of that smell, I'm canceling my subscription. Financial Times. Robot rising. Humanoids come of age. And bond investors warned U.S. Treasury of risks of picking asset. See, that was yesterday's news. That's sometimes the downside of the newspaper. But that's okay. It's also a nice way to make sure you're not missing something. All right, so let's see here. White House lost a rare game of rock, paper, scissors. Okay, whatever. All right. So Intel shelves plans to sell networking division after review. Paramount hikes Warner Brothers breakup fee to $5 billion. Snowflake gives weak profit margin outlook, fueling AI cost fear. Interesting. So tired Americans are spending more just to avoid chores. Oh, I thought that was interesting too. We'll look at that in just a moment. This is not a surprise. We'll talk about that real estate thing. There's actually quite a bit to touch on here. So, all right. Alphabet's AI chips are a potential $900 billion secret sauce. The success of Alphabet's TPU is primary reason for their rally, putting it amongst the best performers in the S&P 500. TPUs were always a major strength internally, accelerating growth for their cloud computing business. But there's rising optimism that they could start selling it to third parties, well, especially since Meta suggested that they would buy. If companies want to diversify away from NVIDIA, TPUs are a great way to do it. Chip business could ultimately be worth more than Google Cloud. Even if it never sells a chip externally, the better chips means a more efficient cloud. I agree. Should Google get serious about selling TPUs, they could capture 20% of the artificial intelligence market in a few years. Now that's up from the 10% that has previously been reported. Let's see here. Somebody says looking for the Santa rally. Yeah, I mean, we should be honestly pretty bullish. Yeah, we're already recovering on the Qs. We'll go, I think we'll go green again here. But things should be consistently bullish between now and really DECE. Certainly the Fed meeting, DECE 10. So I call it DECE 9 because, you know, you typically have a little bit of front selling. So it's nice to see that it looks like we bottomed out around 620. I would like to see a breakthrough of 627. But yeah, you did have a little bit of trading down here at the open without really, I think, a meaningful catalyst. It may just be because we've run very nicely in the last few days. As a company, you're competing against teams. There just aren't that many teams building chips like this. Alphabet announced that they will supply chips to Anthropic. Somebody here says, will jobless claims move more hawkish on DECE 10? No, I don't think so because, you know, people are just going to wash those with seasonal adjustments, and they're extremely volatile. So if you just sort of look at a moving average, it really doesn't change much. I think ADP is much more powerful for a lead there. Okay, Anthropic. The information reported that Meta's in talks. TPUs are applications, are basically ASICs. By definition, they've got a particular use that makes them cheaper. Google is the only company with leadership in every layer of artificial intelligence. They've done very impressive work. Morgan Stanley expects about 5 million TPUs to be bought, above prior estimates. Cool. Every 500K TPU chip sold to a third party could add about $13 billion, or about 3%. That was my initial analysis as well. Yeah, agree with that. Haha, yeah, Inside Square. Thanks for adding a 10 top off there. No, that was like, it was great. Good job, man. Thank you. Of course, high hopes for Alphabet's chip business could lead to disappointment if upside fails to materialize, especially with the stock's climbing valuation. I'm not so worried about this because, the growth forecasts have been growing a lot for this as well. I think they're still at like a 2 peg or something. They're not unreasonably valued like some other companies. So, why was the Salesforce headline so negative? Salesforce gave outlook for operating margin that fell short of analyst expectations, rising concerns amongst investors about the profitability of AI-based tools. I think it depends on the company. Let's see here. Adjusted income margin will be about 7%. Analysts expect on average 8.5%. Product revenue. I mean, I think I'll just have to look at the Salesforce statement myself. I hate sort of reading articles on earnings of these companies. But anyway, yeah, it seems like things are broadly moving up right now. A little bit of a recovery here. Although Meta's kind of stuck in the mud, huh? All right, let me see here. Okay. Bunch of things to cover here, but I want to briefly jump for a moment to the information. Satellite startup to quadruple valuation to $3 billion. Who's this? K2. Startup with former SpaceX engineers, raising hundreds of of dollars in a new funding round that would put their valuation at $3 billion. Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's brilliant. You go work at SpaceX, and then like, hey, let's go spin off and make our own unicorn. Crazy. Okay. We saw the AI pivot. Web publisher request to stamp out AI bots posing as humans. Winners and losers in China's crackdown. Salesforce. Everybody's talking about Salesforce. Okay. What's it called? One sec. Oh, there we go. Okay, good. So, nothing super exciting here. Let me go look really quickly what people are complaining about with Salesforce. So if I go to Salesforce Investor Relations, I can run this pretty fast, and I'll see what people are complaining about. So if we grab I'll just get their press release for now, and download the PDF. Oh, at least they make it easy to download the PDF, unlike Microsoft. Now, Microsoft making it so hard to download the PDF should be illegal. Salesforce, open with PDF fizzle. Here we go. Salesforce delivers record third quarter fiscal. Fine. Show me the numbers, baby. So I've got revs. What are they complaining about? So I've got gross profit, which is fantastic. That's an 80% margin. But then my operations, so this I think is where people are complaining. My operating margin of 21.88 divided by total revenues. Operating margin's 21. Come on, Bubby. 21.3%. Is my income from operations, and it was 1893 divided by 94444 20. I mean, that's fine. So you actually expanded. You expanded operating margins here. I've got sales and marketing that are up. What are we up in sales and marketing? 1433 divided by 1356. I'm only up 5.67% on sales and marketing. And revenues to 259 divided by 94444. I'm up 8.6% in revs. And then what's my gross profit up? Divided by 7339. I'm from the future. Go look at SNF snaps. Yeah, we actually did look at them. That's the NVIDIA. That's the one NVIDIA took a stake in, and we actually did an analysis on them. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't really see what people are complaining about here on Salesforce. You know, revenue growth, gross profit grew more than revenue growth. I think that was sales. G&A actually fell. You know, you've got some restructuring charges here, but those will fall off, right? So that'll fall off. So, yeah, I don't know what the weenie baby complaining there is from Bloomberg, but you know, whatever. That's maybe not highly unusual to see the doomers being doomers. Okay, 1 second here. Let's go pop into. So Salesforce, that's fine. How is Salesforce performing right now? I'm gonna pull that, and then also take a look here. Let's see here. Okay. That's good. One more sec. Where is that? Okay. Good. Now, pop back in over here. Macron warns of disintegration risk to world order in Xi Jinping meeting. Well, I mean, this in fairness is driven by Trump. Let's see what he's saying. Macron has warned about the risk of disintegration of the international order, growing trade tensions between China and Europe. Oh, interesting. China and Europe. You're facing increasing risk of disintegration, Macron said. We have many ways of convergence, but we sometimes have disagreements. Hold a high bar of multilateralism. China is being influenced by hawkish administration under Trump. Chinese president suggests that European policy towards China is because of Trump. Oh, okay, yeah. That's what I thought. So basically what they're saying is because of Trump, Europe is being mean to China. I mean, yeah, because you can't really do without the U.S. So yeah, you know, Trump's trade war does create risks for you know, global relations. And it's all under this premise that, you know, Trump's able to remake all of those relations. Okay, so what is this? The question is, let's see here, technology tracker. It found that out of 74 critical technologies, China is leading in 66 of those. Right, I should make that red. With the US ahead in 8. So that's lame. Let's see here. Here, the US still leads in semiconductors, synthetic biology, and quantum computing. Okay. China dominates in advanced batteries, 5G, and commercial drones. And then, of course, AI is contested. Right. Trump's promised to do whatever it takes. OpenAI planning to spend $400 billion to build the Stargate data centers. Essentially putting our private capitalists against the state of China. Yeah, but there's also the risk that you're just spending in the wrong places. Like, who was it? I think it was Morgan who said they were dumping their data center exposure. Morgan Stanley data center exposure. Yeah, here, look at this. Morgan Stanley considers offloading some of its data centers. Morgan Stanley, one of the key players in financing artificial intelligence, is considering offloading some of its exposure via so-called significant risk transfer. Yeah, that's a red flag. You know, that's bearish, okay? So when companies start saying, hey, you know, we don't really want this stuff on our balance sheet, that's a red flag. Let's write that down. So in order to make sense of this, close our stock tab here. Okay. AI data centers. Slap that under AI news. Okay, cool. So I'm going to argue this. When companies start offloading exposure to a sector, it's usually a red flag. It usually precedes a slowdown in lending, okay? And so remember how cycles work, right? Fear, reduce lending, reduce spending, cyclical downturn, okay? So fear can be driven by, you know, private credit fears haven't helped at Blue Owl. Blue Owl took on Meta's $27 billion in data center debt that Meta didn't want on its balance sheet with escape clauses for Meta, which I think is brilliant by Meta to hedge, right? Now, and this is the problem, now Morgan Stanley wants to offload data center debt through significant risk transfer. I think they misspelled scam. But okay. So, you know, that's not great for the AI boom. The bank held preliminary talks with potential investors about what is this? SRT. Somebody donated for about GME. Yeah, I mean, the thing with GME is you do have to show that you can continuously grow that collectible side. They've boomed on collectibles, especially they've had a really big Pokemon boom too. You got to really show that they can keep holding that up. And I actually think this is a pivotal earnings set coming up for GameStop because I want to see continuation of that collectible growth in Q4 forecast. So what are they seeing so far on Black Friday? You know, what are they seeing Cyber Monday? You know, are they selling online or just in stores? I went into a few GameStops because I looked at, I did the fundamentals on GameStop and I'm like, wow, these fundamentals are actually decent. I'm not the biggest fan of buying retail consumer stocks right now, but I was very impressed with the fundamentals that I saw at GameStop. And so the question for me is that going to continue? Any word on defense drums coming? I don't even know what you're talking about. The bank held preliminary talks with potential investors involved in AI infrastructure. SRTs backed by data center exposure is still a nascent slice of the risk transfer market, credit risk transfer market, where banks hedge their credit exposure, manage capital ratios, blah, 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 blah. This all sounds like a scam. It sounds like offloading stuff to old people who don't know what the hell they're getting into. That's always what I think when I hear this kind of stuff. The bank also led 3 recent junk bond offerings for TerraWolf, Cypher, and Applied. Digital, wow. The banks are overexposed to a small group of companies. Oracle CDSs have spiked, we know. So JPM, Goldman, and Citi also did as well. Yeah, okay, but this has already been done by JPM, Goldman, Citi. So hard to say it's a new catalyst, you know. The CDSs on Oracle are probably a better indicator. I should see what the latest are. Let's see if they've moved at all. I don't know, honestly, like, I'll just cheat really quickly, and I'll just do, like, a quick Twitter. CDS Oracle. So, these two were at 128. Is that the most recent? I wonder if it's come down since then. I'll look. I guess I'll have to go look it up myself. So, here's a post. That was as of December 2. I mean, that's not that old. That's only 2 days ago. But I'll go look. Is there any news out? I don't see anything, and I'm watching because I always have my headlines here. And data is up on these different screens. Why can't I log into this? I just want to see if these are going up still. Okay, there we go. All right, beam me in. Get me in, buddy. All right, here we go. Yeah, I don't listen to half this stuff Trump talks about with all these contracts and stuff. Like, you're trying to, like, run around chasing what Trump says in terms of, like, oh, this is going to get a contract, or this is going to get a contract. It's just not, to me, like, I don't like betting on what politicians say. That's not, I don't do it. I don't know, maybe you can make money doing it. It just ain't me, so I can't tell you anything about it. All right, so let's go. Oracle, it's come down a little bit. Okay, good. So it is now at 126, but it's definitely still at a peak. Yeah, so this has just, I'll call it cooled over the last 2 days marginally. So, you know, we could drop that in here and just say, I mean, you're still at highs. It just hasn't gotten worse. This is down to 125.96.5 on DS4, so still elevated, but not currently rising over the last 2 days. Okay. Cool. So now we have that updated. That's interesting. Good. Now, FT. Chinese AI companies favor small, cheaper, open weight models. Well, they're all going to be commodities, all the LLMs. We know that. Okay, 91, investment firm 91 says that we are making a catastrophic strategic error betting on so many closed models. China's turning out to be far more effective in terms of using its compute in the real world, especially considering the country's low energy costs. Yeah, I actually don't disagree with that. I actually think that's kind of a smart analysis. So China beating US on LLM story. Okay, so this is in the Financial Times. And this is basically 91 investment firm. Okay. Argues China has an edge over us because why? Lower energy costs. What else do they have? They have open source LLMs. We're making a catastrophic mistake betting on closed, like OpenAI. I personally don't disagree. Right? You have these will all be a commodity in the future, just like Merriam-Webster for a dictionary. You know, I don't even know if that's how you spell Merriam-Webster. Oh, there it is. Merriam-Webster. Okay, cool. It's with an E, I guess, instead of an A. That's interesting. I always like to see what I got wrong. Mary. I guess that makes sense, Mary. All right, then I've got... Oh, yeah, and then also this idea that there's so much higher on critical technologies. Critical tech tracker shows China ahead on 66 out of 74 techs versus us ahead just 8 out of 74. Like, to me, that is a massive public policy failure. Massive public policy failure because China incentivizes all of these. Trump is trying to centrally plan by letting, how should I put it, the Silicon Valley suits run his public policy, and it's leading to nepotism and misallocation, in my opinion. Like, ironically, China seems to be more like, we'll just stimulate everything and then let kind of the market figure it out, and we'll see what does well. Ironically, that's less centrally planned, So think about that. Ironic that a centrally planned country saying stimulate all of those sectors is ending up less centrally planned than Trump. That's weird, right? Okay. All right. Any comments? Let's see. I don't know if the U.S. per se, or rather Sam Altman. It seems his strategy evolves around being too big to fail. Time to cut him loose, in my opinion. Yeah. I don't disagree with that. Okay. In terms of research output, 9 of the world's top 10 research institutions are Chinese. This includes many low-quality journals. If you read Nature and Science, only one of the top 15 are Chinese. So I guess it depends who you're referring to. Recent VentureBeat article likely to support Mr. Thornhill's analysis. What is this? Mistral open source models. Oh, this is cute. You can you could quote in the comment section. Mistral. What is this? Launches Mistral 3, a family of open models designed to run on laptops, drones, and edge devices. Oh, that's cool. This is Europe's startup. Mistral. Family of 10 open source models. Flagship model, all AI models under Apache license, unrestricted commercial use, sharp contrast to Anthropic, Google, and otherwise. Mistral argues that the future of artificial intelligence lies not in building larger proprietary systems, but in offering businesses maximum flexibility. I actually totally agree with this. To deploy AI-tailored needs. So there's a company that I am ridiculously, I'm probably over bullish on right now that basically achieves that. I'll make a larger video on it in the future. But Mistral EU AI startup going open source. So slap that in here. Copy. There we go. All right, that's cool. All right, what else is going on? So then we've got The Economist, new sanctions on Russia. Negotiations continue. Europe must pay to save Ukraine. Let's see here. Chinese entertainment is booming. Why does Trump care about Honduras? Whatever. Pity the avocados. Victims. Aggrieved victims of crushing academic debt. Okay. Rare look inside of Iran. Boring. AIs could turn opinion polls into gibberish. Yeah. Large language models can answer surveys that pass tests to check that the respondent is a human. That's actually funny. Can't trust the polls. Don't trust the polls. The polls are fake news. Fake news. All right. Oh, boy. Let's go see what's going on. New York Times sues Pentagon over First Amendment rights. Well, yeah, not having access. The fact that they just have a bunch of shills in the Pentagon now in the press room is sad. It's really a disgrace to journalism. But whatever, I guess it gets views, you know. So, Symbotic tanking on a share offering. This is great. We've been talking about this being way too overdone over here. And it's great for this company raising money. So, that's fantastic. Where's Tesla today? Tesla just gave up all of its gains for the day. You know, I have to say, I wasn't bullish on Tesla and AMD today. AMD, Nvidia, Tesla... mostly because I think they've kind of... Like, yesterday we were bullish on them because they had breakouts. You know, Hood broke out of 127, Tesla broke out of 433. These are bullish. AMD is kind of getting slogged because of Amazon and Google, along with Nvidia. Amazon right now. Amazon's actually down 2%. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, my Weeble's crashing. Oh, there we go. Okay. So, Amazon's been pretty range-bound here for a minute, huh? Almost all year, it feels like. Well, no, not quite. I mean, you're up year to date. Zachary donates $5. Followed you since 2019. Had no experience in real estate, zero net worth. Flipped in BRR 20+ properties since then, and now a millionaire. Dude, awesome. Congratulations, man. You know, you would love our Reinvest AI. Go to househack.com. I'm just kidding. No, that's awesome. Thanks so much. That's cool. All right, very good. So, Netflix, still chilling out at the 102 line. This is where we were chilling yesterday, right at 102. Adobe can't get it up. Bitcoin's just under 93. Oh, CoreWeave. Look at that bounce on CoreWeave. Nice bounce on CoreWeave. All right, so... I didn't miss the on paper part. Who cares? The guy said on paper, what's the difference? Like, isn't anyone's net worth on paper? You know, you have real estate equity, that's paper equity. You have stock equity, that's paper equity, right? And people are like, oh, but you needed to sell it to realize it. Why? So to pay taxes? Like, to criticize somebody for saying I'm on paper millionaire, you should be like, good for you. Don't realize it so you don't have to pay the taxes. Like, it'd be moronic to tell somebody, well, that's just a paper. Like, that jade is stupid. So, sometimes people get caught up in the wrong things. Suspect arrested in Jan 6, pipe bomb investigation. Brandon, thanks for 46 months of value. Oh, that's awesome. That's cool. That's a cool little badge there. All right, what do we got over here? Inside Kennedy's methodical quest to shake up the vaccine systems. Vaccine, Hep B shots. How is hepatitis, the hepatitis vaccine, under threat? I don't even want to. I'm just gonna shake my head. I love the Kennedy who's like, hey, I'm gonna go fight Red 40. I love that. Okay, big fan. Totally agree. But like this Tylenol stuff and some of this other stuff is just getting ridiculous. Okay, so, but it's because Trump wants his lawyer cronies to be able to refile their class action lawsuit. That's all it is. Because his lawyer cronies got absolutely destroyed in court. And they're hoping that, well, if we get Trump on the same side, we'll have another shot. You know, because they put years into a case that they lost. Miserably lost, mind you. And now they want another stab at it. Paramount questions Warner Brothers Discovery on fairness and adequacy of sales process. Whether it's acting in the best interest of shareholders. Yeah, GME earnings. Yay. Warner Brothers appears to have abandoned the semblance of the reality of a fair transaction process. I don't. Who cares, bro? All right. What else? Michael Saylor's strategy could hold the key for the whole Bitcoin market. Of course it does. I mean, Michael Saylor, I'm very bearish on the guy. Oh, let's look at the Challenger report. I maintain the best time to buy Bitcoin is when that guy goes bankrupt. People get mad when I say that. And I don't give a flying F. I will tell you my truth. It's my opinion. Okay, so if I go to Challenger, where's the latest report? Let's go look at the actual deets. I haven't actually gone to look at the deets on it yet. Alright. I'll download the full report. Somebody says my only hope is Beyond Meat going back to $3. I don't know anything about the short-term momentum of Beyond Meat at this moment. I haven't looked at it in a while. But let me tell you, fundamentally, it's an SH9T show. Challenger, Gray, and I'll just do Challenger. Job cuts, report. 12/4/25. Challenger job cuts report. I should put layoffs in the title. Layoffs. No, stop mentioning the stock that we analyzed in the stock member live stream 3 days ago and loaded up on before earnings in the chat. You're gonna give away the secret. And then I can't buy more. I selfishly do not want to talk about this stock that I'm so excited about because I want to buy more of it. And the damn thing keeps going up. It did have great earnings. Okay, so Cody, can you look at a short for Ulta? Feels like they will get hit with margin compression. You know what's going to hurt Ulta? I'll tell you. This is what you should pay attention to. You should look up Ulta and find out how leaving Target stores is going to affect their revenue and if they're going to get a sales hit because of that. I don't know how to quickly answer that question, but that I think is very important. The stock member live stream secret stock paid back my membership I got on Black Friday. Holy shit. Wait, are you serious? You've been here for 6 days. Let's freaking go. Opzar says the best shill is no shill. Let's go. I actually love that line from Elon. The best part is no part. It's one of my faves. Ulta offering 20% cash back to D-Swan to 12. Gotta pump the sales, boys. Okay, so November job cuts fall from October, but we're up from last year. 71,000 job cuts in November, up from 57,000 last year, down 53 from a month ago, which is good. Highest total since 22. Layoff plans fell last month. That is fantastic, because that was a concern previously. Okay, that said, job cuts in November have risen only twice above 70. 2008 and 2022. Man, you know what I want to play right now? What would be so fun? Which button is it? Is it this button? I don't have my headset in, but is it this button? I think it's that button. I can't hear what you all hear right now. But what I would love, dude, I want to take tomorrow off. And I don't know why, but all of a sudden, reading that, it came over me. And I'm like, you know what I really want to do right now? Is play Age of Empires. Oh, man. The combat triangle. Do they have a new Age of Empires by chance? All Age of Empires. Let's go find out really quick. Age of Empires. F off. Here we go. 2025. Oh my lord. What is all this? Age of Empires Dynasty of the East. Is that the latest? Dude, they come out with a new game like every year. Age of Empires 4. So we're still on 4, but they're like X packs. The expansion was released on November 4th. Are you serious? The expansion adds 4 new variants. The Golden Horde to the Mongols. Oh, dude, the Mongols. Those are my fave. But you can't build walls as the Mongols. That's the only downside. You kind of have to rush. If I remember that right. So they keep doing expansions. Man. I love this. No, Kevin. No, Kevin. No, Kevin. Not the trebuchet. No. No. Oh, stop it. It looks so... I want to raid that. Actually, I don't like the naval battles. Oh, the elephants. Also my favorite. We got our archers and our melees. Ah, the combat triangle. Nobody knows the combat triangle quite like I do. Yes, some say only professionals understand the fundamentals of the combat triangle. All right. So, November job cuts. Challenger during recession year, November job cuts rose to 181. Layoff plans in November remained elevated. The trend to announce layoffs at the end of the year became unpopular. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, those were recessions. Oh, dear Lord. T-Com, that was Verizon. Technology cut. Food, particularly those that handle beef, got laid off. Technology and media cuts. Store closings. Artificial intelligence had some cuts, but not as many as store closings. Market conditions. Hiring plans are down 35%. So it's still slow bleed, honestly. Yeah. I bet you were a mount whore in World of Warcraft. Actually, I was not. Yeah, I did not care about vanity items at all when I played World of Warcraft. I was a Tauren druid. I mean, that should tell you enough. If you're a Tauren, like, how could you care about vanity? I mean, look, it's a cow. It's a cow on 2 legs. You obviously care 0 about looks. I mean, you choose a cow. Anyway. Excuse me, sir. I was a Season 2 Merciless Gladiator. I'll just have you know that. Okay? I throw you back to Season 2. Okay. Whatever. Trump pardons. Blah, blah, blah. Sam Altman. Oh, yeah, I wanted to read this. This is like the most petty, like, billionaire fight you got. What is this here? Altman has explored a deal to build a competitor to SpaceX. I love this. I tweeted about this yesterday. I thought it was hilarious. OpenAI Sam Altman has explored putting together funds to either acquire or partner with a rocket company. Altman reached out to at least one rocket maker, Stoke Space, in the summer. And discussions picked up in the fall. The proposals for OpenAI to make a series of equity investments in the company and end up with a controlling stake. Such an investment could be worth billions of dollars over time. Talks are no longer active right now, though. Well, yeah, probably because of Code Red. Yeah, there it is. On Monday, they declared Code Red. Altman has been interested in the possibility of building data centers. Blah, blah, blah. Founded by former employees at Blue Origin, Stoke is working on building a fully reusable rocket. Yeah, so is China. Do we just have an earthquake? USGS. Latest earthquakes. So, latest quakes. A 2.7. You're getting my attention for a 2 points. It can't be a 2 point. Nobody gives a flying F about a 2.7. I don't see anything here. Indonesia for Mid-Atlantic. Where's this? Well, in the Mid-Atlantic. Oh, look, it's right on a fault line. China just had a 5.8. Look at all these earthquakes, man. Nobody cares. Jensen on Joe Rogan. I know, I'm not sure what to make of that. Like, do I think of that as, like, is that a top signal, right? So... Alright. Where did I just go with that? Huh. Where did I put it? Ah, whatever. Alright. What else? Trump's own voters begin to blame him for the affordability crisis. Schumer announces healthcare plan. It'll go nowhere. Macron warned U.S. could betray Ukraine. Oh, I totally agree. Trump will throw them under the bus. He's 100% right. And he's not exactly my favorite guy. Emmanuel Macron. But, who, according to Candace Owens, is married to a man, but we'll just reserve judgment. Okay. Ukraine stares down the barrel of population collapse. Well, yeah, I mean, that's also true. Not just declining birth rate. I mean, who wants to have babies in Ukraine right now? It's sad. You need peace. And then you can have a baby boom. Like a post-war boom. Wall Street subdued as traders await Fed decision. Okay. That's one way to put it. Somebody says Costco's tanking. Can you explain the 10-2 spread like I'm 5? Sure. Oh yeah, Costco is dumping. Alright, so let's explain the 10-2 like you're 5. CNBC's 10-2. Alright. This mountain right here can signal bad things to come if it goes really high. And any time in history it's gone negative and then gone from negative to about 50, it's been a sign that the economy, which is everybody spending money, could be at a really sensitive turning point. And so maybe things will get better like they did in 1995, but we didn't go negative before that, so it was different. Or it means we're going into a recession. We're just waiting for the little match to light the gas on the ground and we explode into a recession. And we're at the waiting point right now. So it's kind of like somebody spilled a bunch of gas on the floor and we're just waiting for someone to drop the match. That's the best I got. Alright, so what else? Okay, so what's the news on Costco? So the news on Costco. Is there no Costco? Costco. Yeah, Costco. So comp sales missed. Oh. Costco shares are down as traffic trends slowed. Let's write that down. So it says Costco. $5.9 in Reno? How come that hasn't shown up on the USGS yet? Yeah, I don't see what you're seeing. Like, there's nothing up here in Reno. In fact, unless, I mean, maybe, why, this is listed by news, but then again, the last one I have here is 650. So I don't know if this is, like, stalling or something like that. Why is, did they cut too much funding over here? Maybe they cut too much funding out of the USGS. Reno earthquake. Oh, I mean, people are talking about it. Shake alert went out. 5.9. The event has now been deleted from the USGS website. Why? Was it a mistake? I wonder if it was a mistake. Nevada. Gave me an alert on my phone. Yeah, it's... So, but why is it not here? Past day. Shake map. A nuclear test? DEI did this? Military test? Oh, y'all are knuckleheads. Yeah, so I don't know if this actually happened. Alright. Whatever. Alright, what else? Polymarket. Okay, we talked about... we saw that, rather. Report finds Hegseth's use of signal risks putting U.S. troop in danger. Well, yeah. The guy's got no compliance standards at all. Are we in a stock bubble? This is the only thread you need. Yeah, somebody says an explosion. I mean, that would make sense. Oh, yeah, we were just looking at Costco. So, Costco... Costco traffic slowed month over month to up 5.8% ex gas currency. Down from 6.7% in Oct. Slower comps in US offset by international. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Comp sales. Oh, the estimate was 6.8. Okay. Yeah. All right, interesting. Ask Costco about Trump being sued. Yeah, they want their tariff money back. All right, what is this? Raging debate about the stability of high stock valuations. On the bearish end are Burry and Grantham. And then on the bullish end, you have Kathy Wood. The argument goes something like this. I see no end in sight for artificial intelligence transforming the workplace. Hold on, even the most profound technological revolutions aren't the path to prosperity. This time won't be different. Blah, blah, blah. Without AI, some would say we'd be in a recession. Yeah, we already know that. Whatever happens next will have profound implications for Wall Street. Bubbles are easy to spot in hindsight. Yeah, Schiller PE has been on an upward trajectory since 2009. Yeah, that's true. And before that, its highest peak was in 1929. Schiller PE's best gauge of exuberance. P's aren't perfectly comparable. There was no internet or cell phone. Blah, blah, blah. Earnings power has exploded, which is also true. This is all just a lot of bitching. Are they just literally putting together, like, comments? I think that's all they're doing here. Oh, this is terribly boring. Buffett hoarding cash. Okay, old news. We already knew about that. Markets tend to go up over time. No shit. Like, is this an article made for children? Like, this is all old news. Retail traders love the market. Of course, it's buy every dip. Unsophisticated casual investors are supporting the market. Yes. Old news. And that's it? Well, that was dumb. Buy watches and skip dresses. What tariffs and inflation mean for 2025 holidays? What kind of crap is this? Home furnishings. Okay, I'm gonna show you something I just bought because we have another little patio and Lauren's like, we need like patio chairs here. I am absolutely mind blown by the price of this. So where was this Cyber Monday money blow? Hold on, let me find it. I didn't want to do it, but Lauren said, Kevin, we're buying this. And I said, okay. That's how it works. All right, so you ready for this? And this is like us, hashtag not sponsored, and not shilling this. I don't care. This is more just economic research, in my opinion. All right, click to see full view. All right, I don't really want you to see the price yet, so there we go. All right, you ready for this? So I don't, Lauren and I, we do not buy expensive furniture. Let me just start by saying that. I think spending money on expensive furniture is a waste of money when you have 7 children because they're just going to spill and destroy it, and then you're going to be really sad, and you're going to be devastated, and it's going to ruin your day. So I'd rather like buy disposable furniture is the way I look at it. And honestly, it could often last years anyway. So anyway, here's a 7-piece wicker sectional patio set with center table, and you can arrange it however you want. I didn't want blue. We've done blue before. I didn't want green. Or sorry, I didn't want a gray, rather. I didn't want black. I don't want beige on the cushions because they get dirty fast. So this green was kind of nice. Somebody here in the chat says $1,500. I know. That's what I was expecting. I thought, maybe like $2,000, right? Like, that would be normal for a patio set like this. And it looks pretty good. Not bad. Guys, I don't understand. I don't understand. $399. How? And it's got a 4.5 rating with 148 reviews. Like, I don't understand how this is possible. Like, somebody liked it so much they used the patio set inside their living room. That's crazy, dude. Crazy. I don't understand. Buy extra pillows. Who cares? Like, it looks fine. This is great. When you assemble, like this, I don't know what that thin version was because this is the thick version here. But this is crazy. Like, I don't give a flying F if this is from China or where it's from. I don't care. What I care about is that for $399, I get a new patio set. Oh, they do charge you $70 shipping or whatever it is. But I'm like, bro, this is amazing. So, like, you got, like, if you've ever bought outdoor patio stuff, somebody says, Kevin, I literally have that set in my backyard. Nice. If you've ever bought outdoor patio stuff, you know this crap is usually expensive. And I mean, look at this. Last purchase, December 1st. That was my Cyber Monday shopping. And I'm like, $399. This is insane, dude. Insane. So now, if my kids spill on this, or ruin it, or it gets dirty in the weather, or dusty, or whatever, I don't care. So, I'm very excited. I'll let you know how it goes. You know, who knows? Maybe it's a scam. I'll let you know. Let's see, does it say where it's from? I mean, I'm sure it's China. Do they no longer list where this stuff is from? Apparently not. Fine. I honestly also don't care where it's from. This is like full deflation. It's insane. Like, Lauren was looking at patio sets on Target, and they were like $800. And we're like, oh, those are actually pretty good prices. And then I saw that for $399, and I'm like, bro, we could buy 2 of these patio sets for that. I could buy myself a fire pit and the patio set. So I got a nice wood-burning fire pit, too. Where's my wood-burning fire pit? I got one of those my dad said the tiki ones are the way to go. So I got one of those, the tiki smokeless ones. I don't know, I heard those are like the way to go these days, which is literally as much money as the freaking patio set, which is crazy. And then, I've been a big fan of cooking the wood logs in my little fireplace lately. I totally cheat because I just buy these on Amazon, the logs, and then I put in the little, you know, cheap fire starter. And I love it. I call it, you know, how millennials light a fire. You cheat. You use... What do I care? I just want burning wood. So, no, it's great. These are good things. All right, so that's why Costco's going down. Okay, got it. The queues. Okay, 28-bit burgers. What else do we have here? Sims doing their share sale. We know. Old news. Meta. I mean, pretty stable day here. Okay, what else is there? Let's see here. That's dumb. Okay, what's this Hegseth crap? Report filed to Congress, concluded sensitive measures to Pete Hegseth, risk putting U.S. troops in danger. No shit. Again, the guy's got no compliance chill at all. He doesn't even know what the word compliance is. So, Inspector General found Hegseth violated policy by using his personal phone and Signal. Oh, okay, great. Personal phone and Signal. Man, the guy's dumb. Blah, blah, blah. Violates skiff rules. Okay, yeah, got it. All right. Next. What is this? Alphabet's TPUs. K. Tesla reliability improved. Tesla made its first appearance on the top 10 on Consumer Reports. Oh, that's bullish. Go Tesla. Let's go. Okay. That's cute. Intel shelves plans to sell networking division. Whatever. Don't care. Snowflake. We looked at Snowflake. We didn't really care. Tired Americans are spending more just to not do shit. Okay, what are they doing? Washer dryer combo she got on sale for $2,000. That's not a sale. $1,000 per machine is market price. Oh, it's on sale, bro. Whatever. Ew, is that a conduction cooktop? $2,000 machine, base blah blah blah. I don't understand what they're complaining about here. I don't care. What is this? Home Depot. What is this? An H20 bowl and a cordless telescoping power scrubber. The Ryobi stuff, I don't understand how they sell it so cheaply. But whatever. Manhattan luxury bar. Oh yeah, that was hilarious. We're gonna look at that in just a second. Okay, that was the Sam Altman competition. We got that. Disintegration. Macron is right about that. Okay. Then we've got nothing on Politico. What's WAPO got for us today? Gas stoves still going to be banned in California? I don't know. I've just bought like 10 gas stoves for our rental properties. Because we got all these remodels going on. So they still only cost me like $599. Man, there's nothing on WAPO to the point where they're talking about pajamas and a pasta restaurant. Okay, what is this? This is Google Taps Vibe Coder Replit. Oh, that somebody was telling me about this morning in challenge to Anthropic and Cursor. That's cute. Okay. Close. SEC fines. We checked that out. Okay. Cool. So what else? AI impact on the economy. I see Sarah Eisen talking about it. Let's go see what Sarah's doing. Oh, Sarah.
That's what the NEC director does. But if you want to abandon the team approach and have one person lead economic policy, I don't think that's so terrible. And frankly, I'd rather have Scott Bessent than a team that included Howard Lutnick, Peter Navarro, and some of the other people that I think are have much more problematic views.
How do you think they're all doing, as far as the economic policy making team in the Trump White House?
I think they have created all sorts of needless uncertainty and in some sense lucked out because other really good things have happened in the economy that largely weren't caused by them and have bailed out from some of the problems they otherwise would have caused.
Okay. Expected that. Jason, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I really appreciate the insight. Jason Furman.
Sarah with the choker today. Okay. All right. Let's see what else is going on. All right, what do we got over here?
AI ecosystem. Dario Amodei, well, he's making these comments in an interview at the New York Times Deal Book Summit yesterday. Bloomberg's AI editor Seth Figman is here to break down why $50 billion that they've just said they're going to be spending on data centers and ecosystem is not a YOLO, whereas maybe some others in the space are.
A really modest amount here. I mean, look, it is an order of magnitude different than the $1.4 trillion that OpenAI is committing. And while Dario did not say OpenAI by name, it was hard not to feel that that was the target of his criticism. I think the point that he was trying to make at a higher level was every AI company right now is taking on a certain amount of risk and embracing a certain amount of uncertainty. They're trying to anticipate what their data center infrastructure needs might be 2, 3, 4 years down the road based on what they're seeing today, because it takes a long time to build this stuff. Dario is claiming we are making a measured, though still costly bet at $50, $60 billion. Other firms are just going off the rails and spending $1 trillion or more, committing to do so. There's a real problem there.
There's also a sort of methodology difference, which, Seth, we've reported on, right? The idea that Anthropic's probably less focused on building its own infrastructure, leasing capacity, doing deals with partners, stuff like that. Did he explain that kind of technological point of difference or business plan point of difference?
I think his emphasis was a bit more on they are not necessarily trying to be the mass market consumer-focused company in the way that OpenAI is, which also relates to OpenAI's current anxiety about Google's ascendance. Those are two firms that are equally vying to have 1 billion or more users for their AI products. What Anthropic is obviously doing is going after the enterprise market, getting customers who are willing to spend potentially big dollars to deploy this internally, and they see that as a higher profit margin business and one that may not require the extent of build-out that we've seen other firms do.
Probably helps with profitability more in line with the future, and therefore an IPO more in line with the future. We have seen a lot of reporting about potentially Anthropic looking to tap the public markets.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the anxiety this week for OpenAI was Google's ascendant, but I think Anthropic is coming at it from the other angle here, where if they get to the markets first, if they prove that you can build a credible, competitive AI development business without incurring the same amount of debt and bleeding as much money in the next decade, investors might really gravitate towards that and rethink OpenAI's value here. So they're kind of being hit on both sides right now, OpenAI.
I think with Anthropic, it's worth reminding the audience about who they are beholden to or not beholden to, as the case may be. When I was in Vegas, I asked AWS CEO Matt Garman why he hadn't mentioned Anthropic in his big keynote, given that they're such a big investment for Amazon, for example, and Anthropic gets so much business through Bedrock and AWS. Could you just explain who their investors are and who they do rely on currently?
Yeah, I mean, I think the core backers for Anthropic are, certainly Amazon and Google, though recently NVIDIA and Microsoft have committed to join the fray. So on the one hand, it was a pretty distinct investor base from OpenAI, but recently they're kind of overlapping more. Obviously, Microsoft's a key backer of OpenAI, NVIDIA seems to be in both, and Google and Amazon have struck some deals with OpenAI and infrastructure. So the caveat for everything Dario says is they're sharing investors, they're sharing partners.
All right. That's kind of boring. All right, so what is this? This is Hawk Down Under. Oh, this has to do with Australia. Okay, makes sense. All right. So what is this? Retail Radar, JP Morgan, successful bets in AI, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so what do we have here? From May onwards, people scaled back their investments on AI and focused on chasing trends such as GLD for gold. Analyzed P&Ls. 75% of retail money went into ETFs. Tech bias helped. Gold rush came. Single stocks have been focused on the AI theme. Yep. And also flows into Tesla and regular bets on NVIDIA. Okay. Tesla's valuation is cooked. In continuation to last week, retail investors significantly bought into the rally during the holiday, posting $8.6 billion or weekly, $1 billion weekly imbalance. Single stock, retail, concentrated bet on tech, consumer discretionary favoring NVIDIA, Tesla, with no Apple. Wow, with the exception of Apple. Okay. Let's see here. Retail. Blah, 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 blah. Retail buy the dip episodes. Let's see. NVIDIA. Retail were strong buyers of Google. Gemini 3. Meta had to buy the dip in late October. Highest activity in the first half of the year and renewed enthusiasm since October. Retail investors were consistent sellers of Apple throughout the year. That's very interesting. Retail strong buyers of AMD. Okay. All right. What do we have over here? Crypto flows into Bitcoin and Ethereum, 58 mil, negative 10, respectively. All right, well, that's boring. Flows into crypto, and then we have the layoff report. Yeah, there's not much. Not a lot on institutions. Okay. What about, what's going on in the market right now? Qs are almost, they're trying to go positive here. Ugh. Yeah. Yep. Okay. What else? Pretty green. That's good. Okay, so then Salesforce, took a peek at that. Morgan Stanley. Let me see, is there anything else on this Morgan Stanley? Data center bets. Morgan Stanley says China housing. AI, Britain's economy. Okay. Let's look at this Mamdani effect. Take a look at this. Mamdani wins, luxury apartment market surges. Okay? This is what we talked about before Mamdani's win. I said you want to, if he wins, you want to buy New York real estate. So people thought everybody was going to leave. But instead, people are actually buying. Buyer side contracts on 176 homes at $4 million or more. So I'll show you what I want. Somebody buy this for me. Okay, so it's One Wall Street. One Wall Street. One Wall Street, New York, New York. That's what I want. Yeah, baby. It doesn't have to be the 10 million unit, but this is the bougie One Wall Street. Common areas, obviously, here. But they have a bunch of units for sale here. Ooh, they have a virtual tour. Hopefully that's not just a video. Give me a Matterport. Here are the other units. So $4 million just for reference gets you a 2-bedroom, 1,300 square feet. So that's what $4 million gets you, just for relativity for the article. You know, nice marble and white and laminated white cabs. So 3% commission if you sell one of these as an agent. Who wants a 3% commission? 3% commission on this is 10.5 times 0.03, $315,000. Anyway, none of these are an interactive virtual tour, but whatever. So going over here, so condo at the 74th on the Upper East, Billionaires Row, blah, blah, blah. Mamdani claimed his election could spur an exodus of rich New Yorkers, a critical tax base whose flight would hurt the city's finances and property market. But 1 month after Mamdani's victory, affluent homebuyers seemed unfazed. If anything, recent stock market rally and generous Wall Street bonuses have prompted more wealthy residents to go shopping this fall. There is no Mamdani effect. The idea that people would flee New York was overblown. Well, it's actually really the opposite. It's more likely that he's going to end up making housing more unaffordable. Yeah, because see, look at this. With little new supply in prime neighborhoods, that's the classic problem. City's wealthiest are transacting in spite of him. Wealthy or bullish on the market. Yeah. I mean, it's totally logical. Entirely logical. Looks like a lifetime of painful price gouging. Condo fees, taxes forever, HOA. I mean, condo fees and HOA is almost the same thing, right? You have to remember that homeowners associations are nonprofits. Like, they pay for the damn building, dude. Like, somebody's got to pay the... Hold on, who's this blondie?
Negative cash flow, for example. Is that wise? When you're thinking about the intertwining of AI with social media, for Meta, it really paid off because it was more effective and advertisers loved it. But what about actually our use cases and how super intelligence is going to win for their business model?
Well, yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, we are, like I said, we are seeing how AI clearly is helping their business, but I think they are stumbling a lot more with their consumer-facing ventures in this space. I mean, even recently, when you look at Meta AI, their standalone app, Meta AI has been, worked into all of their major platforms. You can use it on Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, but the standalone app, as of last month, only had about 3.5 million users globally. So that's, 3.5 million is a lot of people, but when you look at the billions and billions of people that use their other platforms, it's actually quite small. So again, the demand for just like a pure play AI platform from Meta is still relatively small, especially when they are competing with ChatGPT and some of these other players. And so, yeah, there's sort of the business lane and the consumer lane, and I think the consumer lane, they're really having some struggles there.
But people are really using AI within WhatsApp, within Instagram. And then there's the issue of competition, whether
Oh, she's from Morning Brew.
worried about perhaps some policy changes to what they're offering of which companies can basically integrate in the API. And it looks as though both Copilot and Microsoft and indeed OpenAI could be pulling back from WhatsApp.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I have to say, I wasn't surprised to see the EU crack down on that. We've seen them kind of come down on Meta.
She's about 30.
It goes back to my earlier point of when I was saying that Meta AI doesn't have that many users quite yet. That's why they're really kind of relying on putting it in their more mainstream platforms, trying to get people to use it on WhatsApp, especially, and Instagram and Facebook. And so, again, I wasn't surprised to see that they're making that push, but I'm also not surprised to see that pushback, that legal pushback that's happening, especially in an environment where Meta has really just been under the regulatory microscope lately. Here in the U.S., of course, that it recently won its antitrust trial, but when we look into next year, I think Meta, but also just social platforms in general, they're facing so much regulatory pressure at the moment.
Well, on the day, we put to the one side and we see its best share move since July. Minda Smiley of eMarketer, it's great having some time.
Minda Smiley. The reason I guess she's about 30 is because she graduated 3 years after I did from Penn State, apparently. And yeah, she worked at Morning Brew. And now she's at eMarketer, whatever the heck that is. But it's based in New York. So maybe Mindy's buying One Wall Street. Gen Z social media behaviors, but she's a millennial. Anyway, all right. So, where were we? Let's go to Doomberg. It's really little right now. All right. Trump's plan for AI dominance threatened by his own attacks on wind and solar. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You kind of, because you need the cheaper power. Bill Gates' daughter learns $30 million for star-backed AI firm. Bill Gates has a daughter? That's not what I was expecting Bill Gates' daughter to look like. She looks a little bit like the first Katniss Everdeen in Hunger Games. All right, hold on. Hunger Games, Katniss Everdeen, first movie. First movie was a 22. And then, I don't know, put her in District 12. District 12. Nah. I mean, they're both white and have dark hair. Okay. Maybe not. But, yeah. All right. We'll move on. So, Phoebe Gates, daughter of Bill Gates, is raising $30 million for FIA, a startup applying artificial intelligence to online shopping. Bro, come on, man. Here we are, like, building AI to, like, explode people's net worth with a real estate AI. And then Phoebe's gonna come in, raising $30 million to help people spend money on online shopping. Daddy wrote a small loan. Hey, I gotta say, you know, Househack raised over $2 million in the last month. That's pretty good for just a little YouTuber over here. That's kind of cool. So, keep getting six-figure investments. Some nice people. Okay, so spokesperson for the company confirmed the round. Capital raise, value the startup at, 6x, $180 million. Just months after, what? They completed their $8 million funding round in September, and now they're worth $180 million? Oh, come on, man. Backed by a constellation of celebrities, including Hailey Bieber, the Kardashian family, Kris Jenner, Sheryl Sandberg. It's a bunch of women. Sarah Blakely. It's all a bunch of rich women. Bill Gates has not invested. Yeah, okay. It's just all the other rich women. Okay, got it. All right. Okay. The pitch for its AI agent is that online shopping is broken and customers waste. I mean, what do you need them for? You could use Gemini. You could use GPT. Whatever. AI-based search engine and browser extension. Oh, okay. Okay. The browser extension to do what can be done for free is now worth $180 million. You gotta be kidding me, dude. It's gonna compare prices for you, though. Oh, my Lord. Valuations are ballooning for AI startups. That's why we need to get a new valuation for House Hack, because we're still using the August 2024 one. But then again, I also want to buy more stock before we get a new valuation. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know what the new valuation is going to say. But we don't have any venture capital investors like this, all these like rich celebrities or whatever. What is this? So, cursors on Gates and Kiani began working on the company in their Stanford dorm room. Guys, I'm Bill Gates' daughter. I started with very humble beginnings in a dorm room. Oh, okay. Okay, Katniss. Oh my gosh. Oh. I don't know if this is a top signal. Could be a top signal. Oh, okay. All right. So the cues are almost green. Okay. Cues are almost green. We've got Loan Depot up a schmitch today. Meta's still at 666. Tesla's holding on to 1%. Bitcoin's having trouble doing anything. Just can't get anything right. Let's listen in over here.
In this chart, because it does paint an interesting picture, you'll see the white line, which is initial claims, falling to a 3-year low.
Seasonal adjustments,
and I should flag that this data did come over the Thanksgiving week, so obviously a holiday week. And then you have the blue line there painting a very different picture. So let's get some context now with Daryl Fairweather. He's chief economist at Redfin. Daryl, is this job market healthy or is it stagnant?
This job market is definitely stagnant because of the low hire, low fire environment. Workers are staying in jobs simply because it's the safe thing to do.
Read your script, girl. Read your AI script. Pump it.
Building careers. And that means that we probably aren't seeing as much productivity or innovation as we would in a more fluid job market.
Daryl, what is the Fed to do in this situation then? Because if, presumably we're going to get that cut next week, the market is expecting it, everyone is expecting it. But then if we get some kind of surprise out of the NFP data when we finally get it the following week, will that cut be enough to assuage the market that the labor market is in hand?
I think the Fed has a really tough decision ahead of itself, and I'm not so sure that there is going to be a cut. Inflation is still well above the target that the Fed needs to hit. And there's all of this talk about an AI bubble, and if the Fed were to lower interest rates, that could add more fuel to the bubble, making it more dangerous to the overall economy. So I definitely think there will be Fed members who are going to be very cautious about cutting, but there will also be members who are looking at the labor market and are deciding that a cut is necessary because of what's happening in the labor market.
Daryl, I'm wondering, when you're looking at all this data, are things becoming less confusing or more confusing? Because we do seem to have a re-acceleration in inflation in places. At least it's not coming down as much as we had hoped. And then we also have this confusing labor market. So how clear is the picture?
I don't think it's all that confusing. It's pretty much expected that when we have tariffs, when we have an economy that is strong but still has some inflation, we'll see a labor market like this where people aren't, jumping around very often because they might be worried about a recession that's to come, but also prices are high, and that's something that the Fed has to worry about. So although the economy may feel very uncomfortable, it's showing signs of what economists call stagflation, which means that supply is constrained. It is pretty much expected from economic theory, and I think What's tough is just what do we do about it?
Daryl, I want to ask you about the Federal Reserve and the makeup next year. So we had this report that Kevin Hassett is very likely going to be, the nominee, at least if the president doesn't change his mind. And we're not absolutely certain that that's who he has chosen, but it seems like it. But we have some pushback to that now from several market participants. We had an FT report yesterday about bond market participants. We have Neil Dutta out with a note saying that there's plenty of downsides to that pick. And then we have this.
I'm listening to this. This is like the most generic stuff ever. I can't handle it. It's boring. All right. So let's put all this shit together. All right. Let's try this. Let's see how fast we can put all this together today. Okay? We're gonna try instead of a 30-minute recap, we're gonna see how fast we can blow today. How fast can we go? That's gonna be the goal, alright? You ready for this? Close that. Close that. Okay, that's good. Oh yeah, where was the Morgan piece? Here. And then we're gonna go. So, did we determine that this earthquake was fake, by the way? I think it was fake. Yeah. Nobody knows. I think it was fake. Alright, whatever. Okay. Alright. Let's bang this out. See how your boy Kevin can pull this off. Oh my gosh, I'm almost out of coffee. Alright. Don't forget to add Bill Gates. I can help Bill Gates too. I could do a lot pretty fast. Let's see how efficient we can be. That's gonna be the goal. Yeah. Oh yeah. And the China eating our lunch piece. Okay. China. Okay, and then we need cool. Okay, so we got the Fed in 6 days. All right. Cool. Quick blow time. We're 6 days away. 6 days away from the Federal Reserve likely cutting. And yeah, my coffee's empty, so I'm pissed. But let's keep it simple today. We've got China eating our lunch. We got Morgan Stanley panicking about AI data centers. We've got the Mamdani effect actually having the inverse effect, which who could have predicted that? And we've got retail buying pretty much every stock except for one, which we'll reveal in this. And then, of course, which I still have to make a separate video on, the Alpha Report. Shout out to all the course members. We smashed it on a really good fundamental analysis 3 days ago, with the stock now up over probably somewhere around 24% in just the last 3 days, which is insane. Also bought a bunch of it. But anyway, so I'm a little biased. But anyway, let's get into the topic for today. So first, I want to start with Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley is considering offloading some of its data center exposure. Now, this has been done already by some companies like Citigroup and JP Morgan, so maybe it's not the biggest of deals, but there are these fancy things called risk transfer arrangements to keep these bank capital ratios in line. And they're basically trying to get a lot of this junk bond lending they're doing to these data centers off their plates. And this is aligning at the same time with sort of China eating our lunch, because in America, what we're throwing money at right now are big data centers. And John Thornhill suggests we could be throwing money at the worst possible thing. China is throwing money at open source models, and so is Mistral. Mistral, which isn't even mentioned, well, actually I think they are. Mistral? Nope, they're not even mentioned in this article. Mistral is the European Union's version of DeepSeek in China, and they're expanding their open source models. They just announced new flagship models called the Mistral Large 3 and a smaller suite of Mini-Stral 3 models optimized for edge computing applications for drones and whatever on-device AI. And this is in real contrast to all of the money that's going into these massive data center projects, mostly for proprietary LLMs at companies like OpenAI or Google. And so people are wondering, why are we throwing so much money at basically duplicating all of these proprietary models? Maybe we should be throwing money at open source models, and then we could consolidate these data centers and stop throwing so much money into all of them. My long-term belief is that LLMs are going to be no different from dictionaries. Everybody's going to have an LLM. They're all going to be the same. And it's not LLMs that you want to play when it comes to AI, because those are all going to be commoditized. I think you want the downstream service companies that are actually providing real net worth boosts to the companies that are using the product. And I'm not talking about Bill Gates' daughter's startup. Apparently, because she started her startup in a dorm room, humble beginnings here, humble beginnings. Bill Gates' daughter starting an AI search startup to go find you deals for crap that you want to shop with Hailey Bieber, Kris Jenner, Sheryl Sandberg from Meta, Sarah from Spanx, very humble beginnings here. But not talking about that kind of AI. Talking about businesses that actually make money for their customers. I mean, I frankly think Palantir is a perfect example of that, but there are a lot of companies that do this. And so picking the right winners in that space, that's where I think the biggest opportunities are. Whether you're looking at, some people are really into Salesforce, some people are into Snow, some people are into Path. You kind of have to evaluate where that money is. But I think that's a much better direction than, caring what Sam Altman is up to. Because I think Sam Altman, honestly, he is like kind of a gang guy for billionaires. That I tweeted about this yesterday, but I think that billionaires are having like this gang warfare, and instead of like shooting each other or fighting over drugs, what they're actually doing is they're just trying to make each other look bad. Like Sam Altman is now trying to explore a competitor for SpaceX. And it looks like so far, while talks ramped up as of the fall, they kind of fizzled since then. So it's probably not going anywhere, but it shows the pettiness of someone like Sam Altman. And it makes you wonder if Sam Altman is trying to fight Elon on SpaceX. Is he so distracted that that's why GPT is sort of falling behind Gemini now? And Sam Altman is literally the face of this $1.4 trillion we want to blow on more data centers, which is probably just misallocated money, while China is literally eating our lunch. I mean, look at this. Out of 74 high-impact technology sectors, China is leading us on 66. We lead in 8. Okay, so we get 8, China gets 66. Part of that, in my opinion, is because of sort of the Trumpian method right now of let's just let all the AI tech bros guide policy in the White House. And so you get shills like David Sachs who prop up their own startups in the White House, basically centrally planning policy. And ironically, we are way concentrating risk at data centers that's probably going to lead to a really nasty burst in data centers and LLMs. That doesn't make me bearish AI. I'm actually really bullish AI, not just because that's also what my startup does, but that's providing, real net worth to people. But companies like Palantir, although their valuation is way too high right now, those are the kinds of AI that I really like. Now, this, though, is a red flag. Oracle CDSs, while they've cooled to about 126 in the last 2 days, we just hit an all-time high on Oracle CDSs. And I think part of it has to do with what's going on with companies like Morgan Stanley going, we need to bail out and we need to reduce our exposure to these data centers. It's exactly why I like Meta. I think Meta is not only going to be a recipient of LLMs trying to advertise when they compete with each other, but, Meta is brilliant for moving their data center debt to Blue Owl. Let private equity hold it. But all of that is a risk factor somewhere. Because if Sam Altman blows up, he's going to take $1.4 trillion of CapEx plans with him. It's going to take AMD down with him. Lisa Su's AMD sales projections are in part based on their belief that they're going to pump chips to OpenAI in Q3 of next year after the NVIDIA check comes in. Yeah, I said that right. The NVIDIA check is supposed to clear Q2 of 2026 at OpenAI. Then OpenAI wants to buy AMD chips starting in Q3. So if Sam Altman goes, the whole cycle falls, right? We know that's a big risk factor. And it's interesting seeing CDSs continue to rise as of 2 days ago, and now Morgan Stanley wanting to dump out. Now, what's also fascinating is, no, not Mindy Smiley. I have no idea why I have this blonde up on my screen here anymore, but that we are going to get this 87% chance of a cut in 6 days. We expect to get this cut. We're going to get this cut. I actually don't think it's going to be that hawkish anymore of a cut, and it's one of the reasons why I've been relatively bullish since November 18th. I made a video on November 18th called Buy, and I talked about how most of the bad catalysts were behind us, and in the short term, I think we're bullish going through the Fed meeting, and that bullishness might actually continue through the Fed meeting because of those ADP numbers that were weak. Unemployment claims are very volatile. We got seasonal adjustments. I'm not really worried about that. But something else that's bullish, frankly, is you should be looking at the Challenger report. The Challenger report, yes, is bad in the fact that it's some of the worst numbers we've seen for November since 2022 and 2008, but we've collapsed in job cut numbers from the October really bad numbers. Like, the October numbers were so bad, Donald Trump doesn't even want you to have the October job numbers. I think there's a lot of truth to that, by the way. Some of that is jade, some of, like, I'd call that probably 50% jade, 50% truth on that one, my opinion. But anyway, this Challenger report this morning on job cuts, it wasn't that bad. We came down off this crazy October peak, and we're kind of in like a normal range, a more normalized range for job cuts here. So the Challenger report was bullish. ISMs and PMIs were bullish. The earnings that we got from some AI plays yesterday were fantastic, and there are some real gems hidden over there. And JP Morgan tells us basically retail is buying. 75% of retail investments at JP Morgan are going into ETFs. A lot of people are rushing into gold ETFs. Flows into Tesla and Nvidia continue, which I think there's a risk of those. And ironically, you're seeing outflows at Apple, which I actually like Apple. I don't have exposure to Apple, so I'm not like talking my book here. I actually think Meta is one of the cheapest of the Mag 7s. But yeah, retail investors are consistent sellers of Apple throughout the year, whereas they're consistent buyers of basically Tesla and, certainly Google and Nvidia. That's at least based on JP Morgan's retail radar, which is very interesting. But are there dislocations in this market? Yeah. And I actually think the way to look at this right now is you kind of have to go deal hunting. You go look and say, okay, well, where are we able to buy things at discounted valuations? Like, when I look at this Bill Gates' daughter raising $30 billion at $30 million at $180 million valuation for a Google Chrome extension, I want to vomit. I'm like, this is nepotism at its finest. I'd rather talk about the irony of what's going on in New York, which we'll touch on really quickly. But it makes me think I need to get a new valuation done for House Hack, because I think our valuation is gonna be a lot higher. But I think I probably should go. I should buy more of our own, more House Hack before I do that. But anyway, not a solicitation to invest. Okay, read the offering disclosures at househack.com. But anyway, look at this. Not an irony or not a surprise at all. Manhattan luxury apartment market surges after Mom Dominique wins. What did I tell you before this guy won? Before this guy won, I made videos every single time, and I said, every time a Democrat wins, they suck at expanding supply so much that the smart money ends up buying because they know the Democrats are going to constrict supply even more. And so with little new supply in prime neighborhoods, I mean, obviously he hasn't actually taken office yet. It's not like he's been able to build supply. But usually, like, wealthy people know this. When Democrats win, supply gets constrained for housing. And the best move is actually to buy and not to sell. So we're looking at, what does $4 million get you? Because that's what the number was. A surge in $4 million purchases. Street, which is a great address. 1 Wall Street. I mean, this is a fantastic address. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty modern, contemporary. I'd call this contemporary design. This is not your most, timeless, because it's too contemporary. It's too in right now, like all these designs in the cabinets or whatever. But, it's nice. It's not for everyone. It's a little cold. But, ooh, it's got Miele appliances. Dude, those are a pain in the ass to repair. But anyway, this is just an example of what you get for $4 million. The sales of these things are surging right now after Mamdani won. Not a surprise, because again, usually you don't build under a Democrat. Then you got Pete Hegseth, who's in trouble for using a Signal. This is old news. He's a dumbass for using Signal. He wouldn't know compliance if it bit him on the ass. Then you've got Emmanuel Macron, who, according to Candace Owens, is married to a man in disguise. But anyway, Emmanuel Macron is talking to Xi Jinping, basically saying Trump is effing up Europeans' relationship with China, and it's all Trump's fault. Whatever. And yeah, that pretty much covers what the hell is going on today. So, broadly, shout out to everybody in the, oh damn, it's up even more right now. Shout out to everybody in the course member live stream. We did a really good, if you haven't looked yet, look at our course member analysis on Monday in the stock analysis tab. We did a phenomenal analysis, a fundamental analysis where this is really bullish. Every signal is pointing to bullish on this. It just smashed on earnings. It's up 25% since then. And I think if this catches the momentum wave, it's gonna skyrocket even more. I hope it goes down so I could buy more. That's all. I just bought $70,000 of the damn thing. But anyway, that's it. That's all I got for us today. Okay? So cheers. I gotta go get some more coffee because obviously I'm running low. And then I gotta go to an open house because it's broker tour day. And there's a fixer-upper on broker tour a few minutes away. And you know what happens. Sniffing. I sniffed the blood. In fact, it even came up in our deal finder. Our net worth sniping deal finder brought this. I don't want to give it away. But here's just, I guess, a quick screeny of part of it. Yeah, I'll just zoom in enough so it doesn't give it away. But our deal finder even brought it up. This is just a quick little back end, super zoomed in. You can kind of see the funky kitchen in there, the reinvest net worth boosting score. And, soon we'll actually be doing the net worth calcs as well. That's coming in 2026. So we got some really exciting things going on here for real AI, not some stupid, dumb browser extension that's going to go shop for clothing for you. This shops net worth for you. Sniping net worth. Anyway, you can read about that over at househack.com. I got to go. I need more coffee. I'll see y'all on the next one. Goodbye, folks. I love y'all.